When you hear the word comfort, what comes to your mind? Let's paint the comfort scene for you now. Imagine you just lost your job, or something bad has happened to you, which I know some of you did lately, or something to upset you. There are many upsetting things in life. Ill health, financial problems, emotional troubles, and so forth. But, right now, you are sitting at your favorite beach, at your very favorite spot on that favorite beach. Can you picture yourself there? Where is it? Spain? Italy? Ghana? The Philippines? Just picture yourself there. Now the sun is out in the blue sky, not one cloud, nothing. And although it's quite warm, about 30 degrees, there's a cool ocean breeze flowing over your face, which makes it just perfect. And Brother Isaac Oyewole is just over there by the barbecue, preparing some of his spicy chicken wings that I know many of you like and enjoy. And you what? He's just signaled, they're ready to eat now. Sounds good, doesn't it? I know what you're thinking. Let's go over there this afternoon. And yes, but before we go, we have this public talk to deal with first. The title of this talk is Trust in the God of All Comfort. So let us have a closer look at this matter. Now, comfort has been described as being relief from grief or distress, a state of ease and of quiet enjoyment, free from worry and pain. Now, that beautiful beach scene we just described sounds like the kind of comforting place we need to be in, right? Quiet enjoyment, free from worry and pain. But you know what? As much as we enjoy, Brother Oyewole's spicy chicken wings and good food down at the beach, things on planet Earth today are not as comforting as it might seem at first. We even have a bit of a distorted view of what true comfort actually is, because even in a scene like this, there at the beach, let's analyze it. Remember we said, the sun is out in the sky? Well, when we look at the sun, how do we feel? These days we have to be really careful, right? Because of the holes that mankind has put into the ozone layer. We look at the sun and we instantly grab for our beach packs and put another coat of sunscreen on. Then you look at the seashore and we see as the waves are crashing onto the beach, and on a closer look, we see they bring all kinds of garbage onto the shore. And this because of the millions of tons of garbage that are being just dumped into our oceans each year. 12.6 million tons of plastic garbage on average a year. It's horrendous, isn't it? What about the weather though? About 30 degrees? Well, we can't help to think, is that normal for this time of the year in March? Is that caused by global warming? We step back and we look at our favorite place in the beach and think, is that place going to be underwater in 10 years because of all the melting glaciers that are around us? Suddenly, an alarm bell goes off. We look at our watch, and soon we are packing things together because it's just too dangerous to be out and about. And friends, that was our holiday. Now it's time to go home and deal with the real worries. Worries like making a living. Worries like dealing with sickness, illnesses, whether physical or mental illnesses. Getting older, perhaps waking up with a new pain each morning. We are facing or are confronted with things like death and sorrow. But when we look around us, when we observe our surroundings, watch the news for example, what can we see? We see people from different walks of life all around the globe experiencing the very same things that we are going through, or even worse. All in all, we see a lot of suffering. How true the Apostle Paul's words are that he penned down in Romans chapter 8 verse 22, and I'll just quote them here for you. He said, "All creation keeps on groaning together and being in pain together until now." So dear brothers and sisters and friends, are you experiencing what Paul described here? Are you in pain either physically or emotionally or both? Are you in need of comfort? What relief can we expect? To whom shall we turn? How grateful we can be, dear friends, that Jehovah is the God of all comfort. The Bible reliably informs us that He is its provider, its very source. He is full of tender mercies and He wants to relieve us. So we need to turn to Him. Thankfully, Jehovah God, the God of all comfort, has given us provision so that even right now we can find a measure of comfort. But in order to take full advantage of these provisions, it also requires action on our part. We need to take this first step, so to say. And this amounts on having real faith and trust in Jehovah. Now, would you say you trust Jehovah? And the simple answer is, yes, indeed, I trust Jehovah. But let me ask you again, do you really trust him? How can we know whether we really trust Jehovah? Well, we can only know if our trust is put to the test. Let's illustrate this by means of a little story. Now, picture in your mind's eye a man driving up a big high mountain in his red open-topped cabriolet. So he's driving along the curvy and bumpy roads, and he's getting quite high up into that mountain. Suddenly, he takes one curve a bit too fast, hits a bump, which catapults him right out of the car. The car goes flying over the edge. The man just barely manages to grab hold of a branch, and he's watching as the car hurls downward. You know those cartoons where a character is falling down and then it's getting smaller and smaller, and suddenly you don't see it anymore, and then poof, a cloud of dust from the impact. Have you ever seen that? So it's just like that. The car disappears, and then a huge explosion below. Meanwhile, the man is hanging for his dear life, and the branch starts groaning and creaking, and he starts falling a bit. So out of his desperation, he cries out, "Help! Help! Is anyone out there who can help me?" All of a sudden, to his amazement, a voice answers, "Yes, my son, I can help you." The man goes, Who are you?" The voice replies, "I'm God. Do you want me to rescue you?" The man says, Yes, please. I can't hold any longer." And God says, "Okay, I'll help you, son. But first I need to know, do you really trust me?" The man says, "Of course, yes, I trust you. Please help." Then God goes, "Okay, so what I need you to do is let go of that branch." The man goes, "What?" He looks down at the gravelly abyss beneath his feet and goes, "So you want me to take my hands off that branch and just let it go?" "Yes, son, exactly. I need you to take both of your hands off that branch and just trust me." The man goes quiet for a while, thinking to himself. And then again, out of the top of his voice, "Help! Help! Is anyone else out there who can help me?" Now, do you see the point of that little story here? The man was in a bad place, and he really needed God's help. He said that he trusted God, but when it came down to showing his trust, he failed. Now, do you think we can learn a little lesson from that story? You see, we trust Jehovah, don't we? And in life, problems and challenges come along unexpectedly, and we might find ourselves looking for help. But so often, instead of relying on Jehovah's reassuring promises, we try to find our own way of sorting things out, often walking by sight instead of by faith in the invisible God, Jehovah. So our being comforted depends on our putting trust in Jehovah and availing ourselves to his provisions. This means letting go of that branch. One of those provisions, the first of four that we're going to consider this afternoon, of course there are many more, is the glorious hope that he gives us. The magnificent things that he has planned for us in the future. For example, he tells us that he'll transform this earth into a beautiful paradise. What a beautiful prospect to look forward to, friends. Also, he has given us the greatest gift that anyone could have ever given us. He has given us his Son, Jesus Christ, as a ransom sacrifice. And it is only because he has given us his Son as a ransom that we can have a hope for lasting comfort. And we will be going further into the value of the ransom during the Watchtower study later on. May I be kindly permitted to draw your attention to the comforting promises in the last book of the Bible, Revelation chapter 21, verses 3 and 4. Please turn with me to Revelation chapter 21, verses 3 and 4. Now this is the comforting hope that we are looking forward to, dear friends. It reads, "With that I heard a loud voice from the throne say, 'Look, the tent of God is with mankind, and he will reside with them, and he will be his people, and God himself will be with them. And he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be anymore. The former things have passed away.'" Did you notice, for example, how he talks about God's tent being with mankind? That is down here, on earth. No more mourning dead loved ones. No more outcries and pain. Why? Because death will be no more. Gone are also all those stresses and the anxieties, depression, discouragement. All those things will be things from the past. And finally seeing our loved ones again, being raised from the dead. The beautiful hope of the resurrection. But sometimes you might say, yes, that's fair enough. I know all those things will happen in the future. I know that. But how is knowing that supposed to help me right now? I'm living in the here and now. Well, let's illustrate this by means of an illustration. Imagine you're on a sinking ship in the ice-cold Arctic Sea. And you know, it usually takes a while for a ship to sink, and it usually sinks down or tips up from one side to another. Now imagine that stress and that anxiety and pressure you'd be under as that ship is sinking. You'll be trying everything you possibly can to climb up your way to the highest top of that ship. And as you would look around yourself, you would see people already engulfed by the icy waters and being desperate. But then, off in the distance, you hear something. Boom! The sound of a horn. And you know exactly that that horn is the horn of a rescue ship. Now, wouldn't you automatically feel instant relief? I mean, your situation didn't change. You're still on that sinking ship. But now you know that the rescue ship is on its way to help you. Now you have something to look forward to. You will start to put things or matters into perspective. Now you would be straining your eyes or focusing all your attention to seeing that ship appear in the horizon. Well, it is the same thing with the world we're living in today, friends. This world is sinking. And if we are not careful, we can be consumed by the pressures and the anxieties we face today. But if we look toward God's kingdom as our rescue ship, we know that relief is on its way. Just dwelling on that future kingdom will give us relief instantly. But we really need to believe that we need to see it with our eyes of faith. Only then will it make our current situation easier. Not easy, but easier to deal with. Copable. Now, how else can we give God evidence that we trust in Him? By His second provision, which is the comfort of being able to approach Him in prayer. If we earnestly seek Him in prayer, we give evidence that we trust in Him, right? Let's open our Bibles to see this in Luke chapter 11, verses 9 through 13. Luke chapter 11, verses 9 through 13. And notice the attitude we ought to have when it comes to pray to our Heavenly Father. Verse 9 reads, "So I say to you, keep on asking, and it will be given to you. Keep on seeking, and you will find. Keep on knocking, and it will be open to you." Just let us stop here real quick. What can we draw from this verse? We see, keep on knocking, keep on asking, keep on seeking. We see persistence, don't we? Now, do we know any examples in the Bible who persisted in prayer? Let us look at one. Let's look at Jesus on his last night before he got put to death. Just hold your place here. Maybe you can put your finger in Luke chapter 11. And let us move a few pages further to Luke chapter 22. Luke chapter 22 and verses 41 to 44. Luke chapter 22 verses 41 and 44. And imagine what anxiety and what pressure that Jesus was under there. It reads, "And he withdrew from them about a stone throw away, and he bent his knees and began to pray, saying, 'Father, if you want to, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, let not my will but yours take place.' Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. But he was in such agony that he kept praying more earnestly, and his sweat became as drops of blood falling to the ground." So what did Jesus do after even an angel came to him and strengthened him, comforted him? Well, it says he was in such agony that he kept praying more earnestly. Persistence. Let us go back to Luke chapter 11 now and finish the reading with verses 10 through 13. Luke chapter 11, verses 10 through 13. "For everyone asking receives